Here's another book from one of my favorite children's authors, Cynthia Rylant, called Annie and Snowball and the Wintry Freeze. It was winter, and Annie and her cousin Henry were very happy. They both loved winter. Henry loved the snow forts and the snowmen. Annie loved the muffs, earmuffs, and hand muffs, all in pink, plus her pink polka dot boots. Annie waited through spring and summer and fall for the time to wear her muffs and boots. Winter was here. Annie and Henry were not the only ones who loved winter. Henry's big dog Mudge and Annie's bunny Snowball also loved winter. Mudge loved it because snow was one of his favorite foods. Snowball loved it because she had a cozy box by the fireplace and also because she was a snowball. Winter was wonderful. One morning, Annie's dad woke her and told her there would be no school that day. A freeze is coming, said her dad. Icy rain, icy snow, icy everything, he said. Wow, said Annie. She called Henry right away. He was already looking for his ice skates. Do you have ice skates? He asked Annie. No, said Annie, no skates. That's okay, said Henry. We'll figure out something out. Just bundle up. It's freezing out there. Annie bundled up. She bundled so well that her dad said she looked like a big pink marshmallow. Annie just smiled. The icy rain came first. Then it turned to icy snow. Then it seemed the whole world was made of ice. Annie and Henry and Mudge explored. Mudge was wearing a doggy coat and doggy boots. Henry was wearing ice skates and a snowsuit. And Annie was wearing every pink warm thing she could find from her closet. She was also holding on to Mudge for dear life. It was very slippery on the icy ground. Henry could skate, but Annie could only slide. She held on to Mudge and slid all over the place. She slid in the yard. She slid on the sidewalk. She slid right up to the window where Snowball was sitting. Snowball had stayed inside at Henry's house. It was too cold for little bunnies to play outside. Mudge looked at Snowball and wagged. Henry looked at Snowball and waved. Annie blew Snowball a kiss. Snowball looked happy to be warm and cozy. Annie was happy to be cold and icy. The world covered in ice was beautiful, and she loved it. She and Henry and Mudge explored every sparkling thing. When it was time to get warm, Annie went into Henry's house. Henry's dad had been filling the bird and squirrel feeders. He was cold too. So he warmed up some apple cider and some cinnamon buns. Yum, said Annie. They peeled off their icy mittens and icy hats and icy boots. Henry's dad helped Mudge peel off his icy things. Then Annie and Henry and Mudge sat in front of the fire and warmed every finger and toe and paw. That looks cozy. When Annie was all warmed up, she found Snowball. Annie offered Snowball a bit of her cinnamon bun. Then they both snuggled into Mudge by the fire. Outside, the world sparkled. Inside, Annie sparkled. She just loved a wintry freeze. The end. I'm not sure I agree with her. What do you think? Love you guys. Misha says she loves you too. Right, Misha? Right.